Start recording over there and put that mic over there. Well, hey, wait a minute. Turn that one off. They don't see it. What are they looking at? What the heck are they looking at? Wait, that ain't right. Wait. We're in Rabbit. All right. Main. Where's the main? Main's right there. Okay, boom. Why is it looking at that one? I'm supposed to look at... Okay, go to here. Go back to there. There we go. I don't know what happened.
Me either. Trying to Google.
Good evening, everybody. Google was taking over. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Rabbit Hole. Tonight we're going to discuss the 7.9. 4. 3, 2. I guess it's a 7-0 up there in Kamchatka. And I don't know if there's a tsunami, but somebody's mommy. But anyway, we're going to talk about tsunamis and mommies, and watch out. No mommy's way. Here we got another dinger coming in. Anyhow, I'm going to share this. Put this one right away. Just doing it and loading. Okay, there we go. So we're going to run this. Everybody be quiet. There we go. Hi, I'm Joe of the Joe Slick Live Show. My interactive live show is on twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and occasionally in the evenings at 7. During the live show, I review and talk about reports from government, private, and other reporting agencies and websites regarding celestial and terrestrial phenomena. Topics will include solar flares, sunspots, geomatic storms, and near-Earth asteroids and comets that are being monitored around the world. Included in the report is current events in the last 12 to 24 hours here on Earth, consisting of volcanic, seismic, and weather events. I close the morning report off with what's happening in the local and world news. Thank you, and you can be a part of the morning report by going to twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Look forward to seeing you there, and remember, don't get none on you. And make sure you subscribe there, and appreciate you with your tips, your subscriptions. Hit the bell button, hit the thumbs up on every video you can. And just so everybody's aware, I do review the messages, every single one. And the ones that pass muster, I okay. There's a lot of crap ones. But, somebody's got to do it, Anyway, good evening, everybody. Honestly, I think a larger type thing would be building smaller drones. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if you're a drone manufacturer, you're making a ton of bucks. Because what's happening over there in Ukraine, they're kicking the shit out the Russians, man. There is no doubt. The Russians are got conscripts. So basically, they're drafting people from the other side of the country, putting them in a tank and saying, go forward. And they don't know what's going on. They're just running for their lives. But the Ukrainians are not having anything of it. They are just murdering these guys. The thing is, Russia has a huge population. And so it's attrition. I don't know, because the Ukrainians only have so many people. And what we're seeing is just phenomenally amount of death. It's not in the mainstream news, but both countries are just... War is not pretty. And you think in a tank, a big old, big tank, and it's got all this armor on it, they don't have a prayer. I'm watching tanks get blown up left and right, from the old T-72s all the way down to the newer ones. And when they run out of gas. So when it runs out of gas, the guys hop out and start running. And then they either steal the tank or they blow it up, depending on where they catch it. And because they'll booby trap it, guys get in, also boom, blows them up. But so it's just easier to blow the shit up. but who knows? Who knows what's going on? Pretty devastating. The war in the Middle East, yeah, it's still a war, still happening. Hezbollah is still shooting off missiles, and Israel's still bombing the shit out of them when they find out. And they are so precise. They'll put a bomb through a bathroom window from 30,000 feet. So, don't be reading the GOAT magazine when you're shooting off missiles at 20 minutes earlier, because they're looking at you and they're going to kill you. That's unfortunate for that. And what's happening up there in Iceland? Canuck, have you? Sorry. Let me introduce my two guests. New Brunswick, Canada guy, better known as Canuck by me, and my boy Clemmer, better known as the Walleye King. Say
yo.
Good evening, everybody. Hello.
Good evening,
Hello.
everybody.
He caught me. I knew he was going to do that. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so have you heard anything new about what's going on up there, Canuck? Because we always kind of start off with what's going on in Iceland.
Well, the eruption is either imminent or maybe another 2 weeks. Just depends. That's basically what the Met Office report said yesterday, which is good
right.
for 4 days. So till the 20th. And then they'll put out another one.
All right, so the 20th is the next Met Office, unless something happens. All right.
Yep.
Walleye King, what have you heard? Because you were looking at the solar stuff earlier. What have you seen lately?
Well, I've just, we've been banging away with DMs here. It seems like 1 or 2 a day the last few days. I think it was 3 days ago we had the last X.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, the M's have been just kind of banging away, and we've had a few X's now, so I would expect something to go off somewhere.
Yeah, and we got to the KP6, whatever G2 or G3 storm today. That was when I checked the tablet.
Yeah, that was a G2. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't think we were supposed to get one today, but I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah, the 17th. Yeah, that's when it was supposed to come in.
Oh, was it?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was supposed to be afterwards.
Well, what's her name? The redhead lady, space woman, whatever her name is.
Oh, Tabitha.
Dr.
Yeah, Tamitha. I don't know. Is she Bewitched's daughter? You remember Bewitched?
Oh yeah.
Isn't it Tabitha was a Tamitha? Okay, Tamitha Skov. There's not it's a Skov. All right. I think she's Russian too. I don't know about you, but she's kind of scary to me. It's all
the K's, the V's, and the Z's you never use on the keyboard.
Right? Not unless I'm cussing at you. Yeah, she's pretty cool. She runs a school, and I'm not getting paid for this, but she runs a school to help people learn how to look at the weather radars and the like. And she's got a group following. You can find her on YouTube. I can appreciate her, and I think just about everybody here that I've talked to appreciates her and her skill set and her knowledge and what she does, what she brings to the table. It's one aspect of something that we kind of here at JSL we kind of look at. It's out of the box thinking, of course, but
we at least keep one eye open toward it.
One eye open. Yeah, hey, I know that song, right? One eye open. I'm gonna write that one down. Maybe during the break, eh?
Maybe.
Anyway. Miller View University, I think is what Timmy's saying. I never heard of it. Same name as my high school. So weird. Millerville University is your high school? All right, Timmy. Is that where all the hippies are?
That sounds like a beer college or something, Millerville.
Yeah, Millerville. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Nah, it's got to be Bud Light for this guy. If Timmy went there, it's all Bud Light.
It's not named Hippieville, so that's good.
And it's all on Brokeback Mountain there. So it's all right. I don't even know where it is. So it's like, where? I don't want to know. As long as all the Bud Light goes there, that's all right. Let it go. But I think you can buy Jesus shoes there real cheap too. You know, put your socks on and wear your Jesus shoes and wear your hair long. And I mean, you know, I told him, I says, I'm gonna put a strainer. You know, this looks like Northern Island, New Zealand's coming in with a 3.9 right now. It's quality A. So the Raupahi district. It's on the western side of the lake. So Rapahi sound like a song. Rapahui? Not Rapa Nui, it's Rapahui. Because it's Ruapehu. Rapihu. Is that Rapahu? I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah, okay. Oh, anyway, it's to the left of the lake. The lake's in there somewhere. I think it's on a front island, right on the top island. It's about 3/4 of the way in. Maybe I'll share it with you. How's that?
Yeah. Draw us a picture here, bud.
Right. All right. All right. Let me share it here. Boing, doing, 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 doing. Wait, what the hell? Window. All right, right there. There we go. Share this one. Loading. Come on. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Looks like it's a 4.1 right now. 152 depth right now coming in. There's a lot of sites over here talking about it. This isn't what USGS will use. They've got their own computer. This is just kind of a, it's global quake. What do they say? B, Alaska coming in. I expect something huge in Alaska, but that's just me. We'll get there yet. Rapahu. Come on now. Okay, down to 4.1, 152 miles deep. Yeah. Washington came in with a 2.6 too as well. Wow. Central Alaska, Rapahu 4.1. Stop it! Damn thing's bouncing. Anyway, that just popped in, and dun, 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 ding. There we go. Oh yeah, you guys get to see it too. Cool.
As the world turns.
Right? Yeah. Put this over here. Yeah. All right. So Milwaukee's best bad memories.
It's from the
cheap
East.
beer, man. Milwaukee beer, that's cheap. Yeah. Milwaukee's best. I think we got it for $6.99 a 12er. Yeah, we drank plenty of that. Meisterbrow as well, That's another. At least it wasn't Old English 800. That's turpentine, and that will take paint off your car.
Try Whiteport.
Yeah, like liquid lead.
Pretty much.
Yeah, my mic is just
it's like a paint thinner in a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah. All right. Where are we at? Anyway, that's what just happened because it just popped in my thing here. Last 1.9. Yeah. And Mike, he's telling me about liquid lead now. Stroh's beer. Yeah, I remember that. I remember Stroh's.
Used to drink a lot of that back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Canuck, did you get that up there in Canada, Stroh's?
No, that's the first time I've heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
But you don't drink, but when you did, what did you drink?
Nothing. I've never drank beer. I hate it. I can't stand it.
All right.
So I never had any of it. So the only other thing I had is
I got a lot of noise in my. I don't have
wine and rum. That's the only other two things I ever tasted. I didn't care for them too much either. But
All right, I had to shut there was a fan on. Yeah, it's not as bad. Damn, that microphone picks that up. God bless America. It was driving me bananas.
But here we have so many different kinds of stuff. It's like a wide variety.
What's the potato one? That's not vodka, is it? Potato?
Yeah. Well, you can make vodka.
Yeah, you can make vodka out of it, but there's so many different ones here. Because we have Crown Royal whiskey, and then there's a whole bunch of other.
Oh, I love Crown Royal, boy.
Other different stuff.
I think there's I got some VO in the refrigerator. Probably from no, I got it. I just got it last week. I was thinking, oh, get this. I've been looking for so long, and that's what Scooby-Doo used to drink, was that VO, and I think he got too much of it and he's hiding out because he don't want to fall back on the wagon. Too tempting for him, I think.
And all the craft beers are a big thing here now too, but none of that affects me. So
right.
Extra money.
Yeah. The craft beer, you're supposed to be able to make it for yourself, but boy, you can get sick, and you can lose a little too many brain cells too, man.
Well, people here do make their own too, because they have beer stores that sell you all the stuff to make your own. So.
Well, we're in a dry town, right? Here online, we're in a dry town, so nobody's drinking tonight. And Denali National Park 1.5, Yucaipa 1.1, Little Lake 1, Alaska 1.4, Volcano 1.717 on Volcano Island, Hawaii. All right, so nothing's happening there. Cali's been pretty quiet, actually. Steady little burp, and then that's pretty much it. Fake. Do what? I'm not even going to say that word. No, I don't even know what that is.
Well, Canada has so much stuff. It's like American, Canadian, foreign. It's like everything. Right. So it's like you can't even keep track.
Well, our first president was a connoisseur. Oh, what happened?
Somebody's late.
Yeah.
Somebody's
tooting.
Yeah. All right.
Lovely neighbors.
Neighbors? All right.
Yeah.
Well, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the rabbit hole. We got out of the stuff now. The topic of the day is the big giant quake that happened over there in Kamchatka. I don't know. I have not even looked at it yet, so I'm going to go to the USGS, and it happened like just as I left. Petrovsky. Petropavlovsky. Yeah.
Just ask me not how to say it.
Yeah. It's been rocking and rolling pretty good. And I know there's a couple of volcanoes right there. And I think last night or the morning report, I think I was talking about it's got to go one way or the other. And I wasn't sure which way it would go. And because it didn't leave Russia, that what was it, a 6.5 deep or whatever it was?
Yeah, right, that was like almost 600 km deep, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6.5 is 400 kilometers depth. Yeah, and I don't know.
Yeah, when I looked up the historical deeps in Sea of Okhotsk, all right. Afterwards, there's usually big quakes either in Kamchatka or Kuril Islands.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking too. I thought it was going to go over to Lake Baikal, but it never went that way. And so I'm going, okay, how far is it going to go? All the way to Alaska? I mean, Alaska had a 6.0 on the 18th of last month, but it hadn't done hardly anything in the last couple of days. Now there is a 5.2 offshore onshore in Petrovsky, Petropavlovsky. There's a little town right there, and it's probably 60 miles inland. I'm gonna see if I can share that screen with you.
Hey, Canuck, do you have any feelings that like Hawaii now will get like a 4.5 to a 5.0 earthquake down there or something like that, because that 7.0 happened right before that, that chain that runs down to the Hawaii Islands?
Well, it could be, but
The Imperial Chain, yeah.
yeah, like when I've studied all the big California quakes before, something always happens on Hawaii before it. So there's always like an eruption or whatever at Hawaii. So we've already had that this year because we had that cracks there that opened up and blew the lava out there in the southwest rift zone. And then it's been acting up in the other one, but it never busted through. So
Right, because California, Hawaii, and down here in Peru, that's a triangle. So every time Peru goes big on when it's close to shore, no, actually, in Southern Cal is just like Pasco right here, Puka.
well, if you just look at the sevens so far this
Mhm.
year, since January of this year, there's
Should have just had a
4
fire.
or 5 sevens on the West Pacific side and only the one in Peru on the East Pacific side.
Correct. So it's got to balance itself out. We just don't know where and when. And the quiet zone right now, looking at the map that's on the screen with y'all, where would you suggest? But the problem is you can't suggest it unless you check out the Canadian side. Share this tab instead. And you see all this noise up here. Okay. So,
Yeah, but that's pretty minor though.
Yeah, because we haven't had a 7 over in the North Pacific side since basically the 3 Sandpoint quakes.
correct. And the Sandpoint.
Was that the same time as that? Was that the same time as the 8.1 or 8.2?
8.2. That was the last 8 we had. Sandpoint.
Yeah, 8.2, and then South Sandwich was that year, and Kermadex. So there was 3 8s in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's the last time. So it's been 3 years since we've had.
Why is it all black right there?
August 12th was the last one, if I remember right, wasn't it, Canuck?
Yeah, I think so, because how did it go now? It went...
I thought it went like the Kermadex or...
The first Sandpoint one was 2020. So I think it went...
It went like Tonga.
It went October... Or no. June, October, July for the 3 Sandpoint ones. Started in 2020.
Yep.
All right, these are from 2020 going on. These are all the 7s from 2020, okay? I'm going to share the screen with you. And we'll go to terrain. There we go. All right, so we had the 7.0 in Greece, right? Izmir. Do you remember Izmir?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So we had that 7.
2023 ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was in 2020 at October 30. China happened in 21, in May 21. Japan had a couple of them, had 3 of them, in fact, in Fukushima. One on the April 16, or no, January, March 16, 22.
Yeah, that was 13, 21.
February 21.
That was the same time. 13, 22 and 21 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 13, 22 and 21 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 22 and 21 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 23 and 24 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 25 and 26 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 27 and 28 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 28 and 29 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 30 and 31 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 31 and 32 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 33 and 34 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 34 and 35 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 35 and 36 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 36 and 37 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 37 and 38 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 38 and 39 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. 39 and 40 were the 3 Sandpoint ones. as the
And-
Kermadex went off again.
And then March 20 of 21. So, I mean, Japan had 2 of them in 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. February and then again in March. I actually, let me see here. We have 213 and then 320. So, March 20, that's 20 days, and then 213 and plus about 25 days, right? No, more than that. 20, 30, about a month
30
apart.
something.
Yeah, a month apart. So 2 sevens in Japan, a month apart. And then it went quiet. I don't think it's happened since. Other than lately, Isagawa gone like 2 times now. And then we just recently had the one down here by Sendai here. Or down in this sector down here.
And the Noto quake on New Year's Day
Yeah.
on the backside.
Right. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. The Isakawa, Nano, Tacoma, or whatever it was, New Year's Day. So, and what's funny, or it's not funny, that side of the plate has been really, really busy, and it's been moving up into Russia, going through all the stands being pissed off, China's being pissed off, the Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Iranistan, Azerbaijanistan, Turkestan, Irakistan, all of it been busy. But up in the Kurils, Kamchatka, not so much. I mean, the volcanically, we've had, a couple of volcanoes have popped. And I guess that's a release of pressure. So that maybe that's why there's no big earthquakes. And the 8.2 happened on July 29th of 21. All right. And of that same area of 20 the year before, in October, had a 7.6. That's when we had 3 7.6s, right? So Mexico, Alaska, and PNG.
Yeah.
The big triangle. That was weird. All 3 of them were 7.6s. And that's because we had some solar activity that would just ramped up. Now, we've had a ton of solar activity and nothing, not a whole lot. I'm not asking for it. I don't want it. But, I mean, in Peru had a 7.5 and a 7.2. In May of 26 of 22, it had a 7.2.
Hey, Joe, we just went down on the site.
Yeah, the site just crashed.
Where? JSL?
On Twitch. Yep.
Yeah, came up and went down and then back up again.
Twitch down. All right. How are we on the other side? Can somebody go to over there to Facebook, or let's see if we're down over there. Dub Diesel hears me. Oh, we're back up.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. That's weird.
Q second. Internet has been spotty everywhere. Yeah. Yep. Back. Yeah. We're back. Had problems with Gmail. Refresh your apps. Yeah. Well, I see there's plenty of people on right now. That happens, and we just don't know why. Somebody gets pissed off because we're drawing conclusions, I guess. Or maybe we're just concluding that people are pissed off. Who knows?
Yeah, we're going too in depth on the 7 and 8.
Right. Yeah, through the Middle America, we have the 7.0 Acapulco. You remember that one? That happened on September 8th of 21. I think that was 2 days before Timmy's birthday, or a couple of days anyway. What day is it, Timmy? I know it's real close to one of those. Haiti had a 7.2, August 14th of 21, September 8th. I thought so.
Yeah, so there's been no
Right.
there's been no sevens between Sandpoint and Colima
No,
like-
Acapulco.
for 3 years. No, well, Colima's up farther than Acapulco.
Correct. So from Acapulco south, there has been. Acapulco north, there hasn't been.
Yeah.
Until you get to Alaska with an 8.2 and a 7.6. And that's pretty current. In
Well, yeah, that wouldn't the Alaska 8.2. That would be our last 8 in the last 3 years.
Correct. And
Just over 3 years.
In Drake Passage or the Sandwich Islands, we had a 7.1 on October 22 of 21. We had an 8.1 August 12th of 21, and we had a 7.5 August 12th of 21. So those were pretty good. If I remember correctly, we also had in the Kerms 7.4 March 4th of 21 and an 8.1 March 4th of 21. And there was another one. It kept going in and out, in and out. They said, oh, I don't know if it is one. But nothing ever transpired of that. And March 4th of 21, down there real close to New Zealand, had a 7.3. Those three happened all at the same time. So the entire Kermitic Ridge and Kermitic Trench moved at a very extreme power. I'm thinking it probably moved close to 20 feet, sliding one way or another, either whether it slid down underneath or whether it went north. I'm not sure. The motion tensor ball wait, and share this tab. This is the 7.4 Kermitics. I'm interested in looking at what that ball meant here. It looks like it's mostly dip slip. Yeah, mostly a dip slip with some strike in it. So yeah, pure dip slip, almost pure dip slip. So one sliding under another, right? So that's what that one was. And so the tectonic summary, March 4th of 21, occurred as a result of reverse faulting in the Tonga Kermitic subduction zone, which extends north from North Island, New Zealand, more than 2,500 kilometers through Tonga within 100 kilometers of Samoa. Focal mechanism solutions for the event indicate rupture occurred as reverse faulting and moderately dipping plane striking either south-southwest or north-northeast. So north-northeast, I would think that would probably, because the other quakes happened, March 4th earthquake, typically about 70 kilometers long, 35 kilometers wide, fault length and width. But that was some interesting times right there. I remember those. So, yeah. But, but those are some of the bigger quakes. Up here in Vanuatu and the Loyalty Islands, 7.3 on October 2nd, 21, 7.7 February 10th of 21. Man, 21 really had it, eh? And March 31st of 22, I had a 7. Seems like February and March, a lot of activity, even in, I guess they're all happening, right? 7.3 in Timor. I know there was a 7.6 next to it. It's not, I don't know why it's on in here. December 29 of 21. 7.3 in the Flores Sea on December 14th of 21. 2 days later. Wow. Boom. And then boom. All right. Then up here, Philippines, January 21 of 21 and August 11th of 21, another 7.1. And this Davo's been really stinking busy over the last 5 years. And then this is the one that happened up here on Luzon 7.0, July 27th of 22. So those are all the dates of the bigger ones. of the largest quakes we've had in the last 4 years. I think I included oh crap, don't do that to me.
Yeah, the 3/8 in 2021 make a big triangle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Sand Point, Kermit X, and South Sandwich.
Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, shoot howdy, boy. Shoot howdy. 21st century earthquakes.
And that triangle crosses over into the Atlantic. So it's like two on the Pacific side and then one on the Atlantic side of South Sandwich. So it's pretty wild.
Right. Yeah, the last 9 we had was Indian Ocean in 2004. That was a 9.2 to 9.3. And then
The last 9 we had was March 11th, 2011.
11, yeah. But that was a 9 to a 9.1. The stronger one was in Indonesia. The Chilean earthquake, February 27th, 2010, which predates the Japan one, was from Chile, February 27th of 2010, so a year and a month, was an 8.8 in Chile. Oh boy, that hurt. Somebody's getting a beer. March 28, 25 of 2005 was an 8.6 in Nides region, Indonesia. Boy, that's 28. 2005. That's the year after the big Indian Ocean one. Sumatra again, 2012, April 11th. Boy, that hurts. Another 8.6. God, Indian Ocean. Oh man. Sumatra.
Didn't they have like 2 of them on the same day?
September 12th of 2007, another Sumatra earthquake, 8.5. I mean, Sumatra gets some of the giant earthquakes. Look, I've been in a 7.3. That is super freaking intense. Even
That's
at
a monster.
120 miles away. Maybe not even that. It's intense. I cannot imagine a quake 100 times more stronger than that, or 1,000 more times more stronger than what I was doing. That is insane.
Yeah. QuakeCat's putting in because today is the anniversary of the Lake Hebgen quake in 59.
Correct. Yes.
Well, also in 59, Kamchatka had an 8+. Because I've looked that one up before. So she's talking about what happened in North America, but what started everything off that same year in 59 was an 8+ in Kamchatka because it was first, if I remember right.
All right. So, how did Yellowstone respond? I can see Yellowstone. It didn't like that earthquake. Here, let me show you. All right. So you can see right here that earthquake today, right there.
Oh, yeah. You can see it showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because if I remember right, the big quake at Kamchatka in 59 was closer to the start of the year.
Yeah, you can see right here. That's pretty insane. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so
That big Yellowstone quake, that 7 point whatever, that was before 1959, correct?
No, that was in 1959.
It was. Okay.
They're calling it Yellowstone, but it was actually Hebgen Lake. And these are the largest quakes right here since 2000.
But I
top.
can't remember where the other big one was that year, but it made a triangle across the Pacific. I remember.
Costliest quakes, deadliest quakes, largest quakes by year, from all the way to 24. The Noto earthquake, Japan, is 7.5, January 1st. The Syrian quakes is 7.8, and the Michoacan, Mexico, had a 7.6 in 22. Chignik, United States. Where the hell's Chignik? 8.2. Oh, that's Alaska, yeah. Peruvian 8 in 2019. Fiji 8.2 in 2018. 4.4 happening right now on southern Peru, just under Lima. Just popped up on my thing. So Solomon Islands, 7 new. Chile, Lilpel, 8.3 in 2015. 2014, Chile. Iquique. Okhotsk, Russia, 8.3. May 24th of 2013.
Yeah, in 1959, the three biggest quakes that year were Kamchatka, Lake Hebgen, and the third one was Kermadex. So it made a big triangle. I remember that.
I was just
As I
going to
looked
say
it up.
that's another big triangle. Oh. Yeah.
All right.
A lot of big earthquakes that year.
All right. So just going back 7 days, four and up. Nothing on the eastern side of the Pacific. Everything is to the western side of the Pacific.
Now I'm going to look up what the geostorms were in 1959.
All right. Trying to think outside the box, everybody. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Why are things happening? And is there a relationship between different disciplines, such as solar, such as storms, like weather storms? Like if it rains a lot, does it soak the ground so much so? Or if there's flooding, or if there's fires, like right now, and I show this on the screen here. There's a shitload of fires, man. So, Patrick. All right, Patrick. Got you. You're a teenager now, man. You can say shit. You were 9 before.
Well, the number one storm in 1959, because I have the top 50 was KP9, and then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 KP8 storms.
So the Earth was pretty charged in 1959, then.
6. I see 6 KP7 storms.
And where were the? Well, we don't know where they hit, but I'll tell you what else was happening in 1959.
Well, you'd have to look up where the flares hit, which they do have that marked. Because I'm looking at when I first started doing this, I started looking up the flares, but then I realized the flares don't mean anything until the geostorms hit. So now I look up the geostorms because they're more important, because it has all the dates of them listed. And I can see that they're usually right before the bigger quakes. So now I'm more interested in the geostorms than I am the actual flares. Because
wasn't 1959 in the minimum side of the solar cycle, or supposed to be?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But see, you can get geostorms even when they're solar minimum.
Yes.
Still. But see, I wasn't thinking that before. So I had to go back and, like when I first started doing it, I was just looking for flares. But then I had to realize that we get geostorms sometimes without flares, which happens at solar minimum. So I have to go and look and see what geostorms we're hitting when we're at solar min, too.
Right. Well, solar minimum, I've noticed that they're more than not more major quakes during solar minimum than the other.
Because the geostorm compresses our magnetosphere, right? And that's what forces, I think, the charge out from the core. So that's what you have to look at. So the geomagnetic storms are more important than the flares.
It appears we were in a solar max in 1959.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure when I looked up 1960, it was crazy too, when the 9.5 in Chile happened. The only one I found that was a 9 at like extreme solar minimum was 1964 Alaska. Every other one I looked up, there was always crazy solar stuff happening.
All right. Here's something interesting. 1959. Radioactive deposits were found in both wheat and milk in northern United States. Therefore, there was no nuclear testing in 1959.
I don't know what that would be from then.
Operation Hardtack was a series of 35 nuclear tests conducted by the United States from April 28 to August 18, 1958 in the Pacific Proving Grounds. Well, it was due to nuclear fallout.
Gotcha.
So from 58 then.
Right, they were doing it out there in the oceans in 1958, and here we are worried about what's happening from all that dumping of Fukushima into the ocean. They don't know what to do with it. It's just they're dumping it, and it's probably a good idea not to eat fish from Pacific Ocean, because it's all irradiated.
Yeah, and then when I do the top 50 geostorm, I look at the dates because I want to see how many storms happen like around the time of whatever big quake I'm looking up, and I usually find a whole bunch. Because I think the big Kamchatka quake that year was in April, and I'm looking up just to see like what was going on in March, and I find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big geostorms in March, like KP8, 7, 6, all in like that month right before it. So it's wild stuff.
All right. There were 215 atmospheric tests, nuclear tests. 215 in the United States. 528 total in atmospheric tests. Underground tests, throughout the times they tested them, 815. So that's another 1,528 tests. Therefore, there's 2,056 nuclear tests that have gone off since 1945. That's a shitload of. Yeah. So, 2017 there were 2 tests. 2016 there were 4 tests. 2 tests. Sorry, 1 test in 2017, 2 tests in 2016, 1 test in 2013, 1 test in 2009, 1 test in 2006, 4 in 98, 3 in 96, 7 in 95, 2 in 94, 1 in 93, 8 in 92, 14 in 91. Our last test in the United States was 92. We did it 6 times. Since 1992, we haven't done it. And the was it In 91, we did it 7 times. So it's a total of 14. 18 times in 1990, the world did it. 28 times in 89. 88, 40 times, we did it 15. 1987, 47 times. Russia did it 23, we did it 14. 23 times in 86. In 85, we did it 36 times. We did it 17 times ourselves. 57 times in 1984. Russia did it 27 times. We did it 18. 55 times in 83. Russia did it 25. We did it 18. In 1982, 49 times. Russia did it 19. We did it 18. And in 1981, 50 times. And it keeps going up from there. And the most we ever did it was 1958. United States did it 77 times. Let off a nuclear bomb. And in 1962, we did it 96 times. And the whole world did it 178 times. Russia did it 79. UK and France did it 2 and 1. That's insane. What I'm doing is I'm looking at like I heard one time that somebody put out there that could quite possibly change the magnetics of the world, the way the world is functioning, because they've done so much nuclear testing that they've wobbled the earth, or they've and contaminated the earth so much so that the lineaments are maybe cross-threaded, connecting, like, made a connection from one to the other. So something's going on electromagnetically, or just made a new wire from the opposite direction that should have never been there. So the earth is going to act different. I'm just throwing out those dates so that when we listen to this report, that the world has blown up 2,056 nuclear bombs. United States did it 1,030 times. Russia did it 715 times. The UK 45 times. France has done it 210 times. And China's done it 45 times. Yeah. So, and the rest of the world, there's 3, 2, and 6. And that would be China, or India, Pakistan, and North Korea. Those are who have the bombs. Now, we're very concerned with what's going on in Iranistan, and they're very close to having the bomb if they don't have one already. And I know what will happen. Israel has the bomb; they'll use it. If if Iran does it, Israel will use it, and they will light the world up. So I'm concerned about that, but I'm adding it to the anomalies of why things are happening in the world today. And we're looking at the fires right now. So in looking at the fires, you can see across the North America, from one end, from Alaska all the way over to Newfoundland, is on fire. It's completely on fire. Now, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's completely on fire. Why do you think that is, Canuck? Why is the Canada
all trees up there?
Yeah, until you get to where there's no more trees. Once you get far enough north, then it's the tundra, so there isn't trees.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the historical list of wildfires in Canada, that's what it looks like. It's that same line going across the top, whatever it is, 200 years of fires, because I've seen the thing. It's the same angle going across. It's slightly northwest to southeast.
Is there a liniment that you would say that runs through there, Canuck?
Yes, I don't know what to call it. There's been other people that have tried to name it.
Call it the Canuck one.
Well,
we'll just call it Canucks.
It would just be
Canuck liniment.
one. You'd actually have to call it Alaska to
That's all right.
Labrador City liniment or something.
All right. We call it the Canuck one.
Yeah, because Labrador City's been having the big fires this year. They've had to evacuate it 2 or 3 different times.
All right. Well, because they got one road in, one road out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes like the whole way across, right? All across the north there.
Yeah. Dub Diesel, is Dub Diesel still out here?
And it comes down basically and goes across the top of Saskatchewan,
Drop the bomb on me, baby.
like right where they have all the uranium mines, all across the top of Saskatchewan.
You got monsoons coming, bud. I'm looking at it now. I'm just sorry to interrupt, but yeah, he's got monsoons coming. They're going to pop in a minute here. So looking up, and I'm looking at here through Arizona here. He's in southern Arizona. He lives there. I don't know if he's there right now. But look at this. It just blows up big right here. And it's coming right up there, buddy. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you got some monsoons coming your way. I don't mind the monsoons so much that I don't like lightning. Scares the shit out of me. The thunder and the lightning scare the shit out of me. But as long as I'm safe, I like watching it.
Well, the lightning will only get you once.
Well, how that's coming up from Mexico, that's another liniment.
Yeah, I know. It's the Walker Lane straight up.
It's coming right up.
It sure the hell is. Let me see if I can get here localized. Right here, right on the border.
Actually, it's what they call the Sonora Mojave.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Sonora Mojave Mega Shear Zone. That's what they.
Yeah, well, that's where I live, and that's where Dub Diesel lives.
Yeah, so it's coming right up.
It's turning right over here off the Four Corners to northern Texas, Oklahoma. That's where it's turning, but we're catching the backside. I'm not going to catch it, but I know Dub Diesel, it's coming his way. So if I did this, I'm going to see if I can't get the interstates and routes and highways. Oh yeah, you're right down there. Are you in southern Phoenix? Or you're in southern Phoenix? Oh, you've got no wind. We've had really strong wind up here. Of course, I'm northwest of him. Yeah, the monsoons are freaking insane. Southern Phoenix, no, sorry, not far from Casa Grande. Have you spoke to Knucklehead in a while, Dub? He doesn't talk. He doesn't call us no more. But
you want to talk about a monsoon? There was a town like 150 miles away from me here last week that had 3 inches of rain in 23 minutes.
Can you imagine that, everybody? 3 inches of rain per every square inch. 3 inches of rain per every square inch for a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles wide. 20 minutes. You're ankle deep right now if it didn't have any flow.
Yeah, crazy.
But because it does have a slope, a flow, you got massive floods.
Toronto flooded tonight and this afternoon again from thunderstorms, and Montreal had a massive water main break that flooded everything after they got flooded 3 times last week.
Were they voting?
No, but
because the votes, every time it votes, floods, right?
Yeah,
it's inside the building, not outside.
You know how it tends to attack certain areas. Well, you know why.
Right.
Yeah.
All the conservative people aren't having an issue, but
yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny, and they all miss here the most conservative part of New Brunswick that goes up above us and hits the French people, and then it goes to Nova Scotia and floods them out.
Well, are the Frenchies liberal or they're not?
Yeah, they always vote liberal.
Yeah, they're very liberal.
And so
I
does
don't know
most
why
of
that
Nova
is.
Scotia now
Was
too.
is it because France is socialistic, or
No,
I mean,
it's just because that's what they do. They've always done it that way.
well,
So, like our province, usually the English side goes. The English part of it is more conservative until you get to the bigger cities, then it leans more liberal. But
Yeah.
out of the countryside, it's conservative. But then when you go up north into the French part, so they always vote for the liberals.
well, on the other side of the the Cocos Pass, or the Cocoa Pass, or whatever they call that damn thing, the southern island of New Zealand just popped with a 2.9, right on the corner of it. So that other quake went south, it seems. New Zealand's been really banging, so a lot of small quakes, but nothing major yet. Just I've been seeing a lot of happenings on New Zealand. It just popped in just now, so it's not verified or anything like that. Salt Lake City had monsoon rains this week. Take a look at this crazy. Okay. Oh yeah, I've seen that. That kind of stuff is like, what? Here, I'm gonna share this with y'all. Here's a picture. I don't know who owns this picture. Quake Cat, I'm assuming she's responsible. Look at this. Somebody going down the darn road. It's a sheer wall of water.
Yep.
I've seen that. It happens. It's no joke. In a monsoon, that's what a monsoon looks like. It's like it just comes down for no, like, it could be nice and everything else. Yeah, Eden's seen that stuff too. Yeah. Beautiful thunderstorm, but no water with it. I don't know. Yeah, the hurricane is still out there in the Atlantic. I don't know if it hit the Bermuda Triangle or not. I just don't know.
Yeah, they said it got there sooner by what I saw than what they thought.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that meant it sped up or the effects of it went out farther, quicker or something.
Right.
And it's supposed to miss Atlantic Canada, just grace Newfoundland.
Right.
So we don't got to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
Other than like high surf on the coast. Because that's what it does when it goes up, right? Makes high surf and waves, even if it's offshore.
Yeah, that Kamchatka quake is definitely a 7. It's not higher than that. Yeah, it's barely a 7. I'll tell you right now. Looking at the origins, but it's still out in the ocean. 29 depth. I don't know if it created a tsunami. I'm trying to look at it. What the hell happened? Tornado active severe weather in where the hell is this? I don't know where this is.
But here we
have
still
severe
have
weather in Washington right now.
we still have the rest of August, September, and October to go through for hurricanes because it goes to November 1st now, or November 15th. I can't remember. They changed it. Might be November 15th now.
I think it's November 15th, bud.
Yeah. So we still got a good 3 months or more to go yet of hurricanes.
Yeah, and September's the big month usually.
Yeah.
For you up there, way up north, why you, bud?
Oh yeah.
No,
we get some here. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, no tsunami from the 7 that in Kamchatka. No warnings at all. All right. The Sea of Ocoee 6.8. No.
Somebody said in one of the chats that I saw when I got home that one of the volcanoes was erupting big time now in
Where?
Kamchatka, but I don't know. They never
Oh,
said.
yeah. Yeah, I was saying that Here, we'll just go and check out the volcano news. Share this in the tab. Volcanoes on tomorrow. Fuego,
Yeah.
Simiru, Chevalush, Ibu, Sangay,
Yeah,
and
so it must have been Chevalush, probably.
Chevalush, or Ebico. Ebico's been popping too. Ebico volcano, 12,000 feet. That's not much. So nothing to worry about with that one. Sangay is at 20. That's in Ecuador. Nothing. Ibu, 7,000. Coming down. Simiru, 15 in Indonesia. Nothing. Sabancaya, 25,000. I have a 19. That's nothing. Chevalush. Ash advisory, it's not provided. So yesterday or today for us, August 17th, Santa Guido, Fuego, Popo, Simiru, Chevalush. All right. So Svartfenzingi, seismic activity has remained relatively stable over the past few days with about 90 earthquakes. All right. So nothing too earth-shattering there. Fuego 14, Reventador has dissipated. Tucono, 8,000. So that's okay. Sangay, nothing there. White Islands, continuous low-level eruptions at White Islands. Hey, something's going to happen in New Zealand. All right. I just kind of have a feeling with that. White Island's been going on kind of wonky. Santa Guido, and I kind of say, hey, move away from the ocean, okay? Or go inland, go camping for a while. Just get away from the shorelines. If you're in Northern Island or the Southern Island of New Zealand. Santa Guido, 13. Fuego, 14. Chevalush. Possible eruption to 23,000. I want to say it's only an 8 or a 9. It's 10 now. All right. So 13,000 feet, Chevalush. So, I mean, it's been just farting dust in the wind here. Reventador, 14. That's nothing. 10,000, Little Toby. That's 5,000 foot popper, really. Sangay's got a 3. White Islands, continuous low level eruptions. Fartfinsingi. Yeah, it's on pace to do it. And no doubt. Time series the data GPS station singing as Fartfinsinger November 11, 23 is shown on the north, east, and vertical directions, top, middle, and bottom images respectively. The bottom time series indicates the land uplift in millimeters, with data detected late August highlighted that the green dot, red vertical lines marked the timings of the last 5 eruptions: December 18, 23, January 14, February 8, March 16, May 29 of 24. Blue vertical lines indicate the timing of magma intrusions that did not lead to volcanic eruption. November 10th of 23 and March 2 of 24. All right. So we're well beyond that blue line. Yeah. So we're down here now, huh? East. There's a blue line. All right. March. And then here we are today. Green line. 24. Yeah, it's going to erupt. There's no doubt. Yeah, I don't see anything. Chevalush a little bit. Nothing spectacular. So, yeah. Hawaiian Islands got a 2 right now. So, all right. Not seeing a whole lot. I'm just trying to keep you up to date with what's going on too, as we look at what's happening as well. Yeah, Vanuatu, a little bump, right, happening right now, just a little one. So, but hey, the fires are happening in Canada and on the west coast of the United States. We have a little bit of volcanic activity and then a pretty good little bump on a 7.0 in Kamchatka, central Kamchatka, and I want to say it's by Bezimani. But I got to find out where Busy Manny is. Hold on. Give me a second. She's is an image of a supermoon over Wasatch. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Kind of scary looking though, huh? Yeah. That's why I get scared of damn, the only reason is because she'd always try to kill me. Godzilla always tried to kill me when I was growing up. She'd be coming pounding. I had a lot of shit going on when I was a kid. Bezzy Manny, Bezze Manny. I don't know how to spell it. Bezzy Manny volcano. There it is. All right. It's not Bezzy Manny. What's the southern one?
Kalefskoy, or whatever it's called. Kalefskoy.
Mm.
Because there's a whole bunch there that are all like pretty close together.
Right. Well, where this earthquake happened today, is much more south. It's at Petrovsky, but there was an earthquake on the interior side, August 16. So, but there is like 3 volcanoes right there. Let me see what they're called here. Zupanovsky is one. That's in the north. On the southern side is Avachinsky V. I don't know what the hell that one's called. Yeah, there might be another. There's like Russian names, and then there's the names that we use. Avachinsky, or yeah. And what is this one here? Koryaski. Everything's got a sky or a ski.
So would it surprise either one of you guys to see one of them volcanoes in the area start to go off big?
Not at all. That's why we look at them. This is a relatively shallow quake, and it's not deep in the mantle. However, the shaking can loosen up the ground between one of these volcanoes and its chamber down there, and it can start to quake and then heat up. It depends on how much it's been heating up. These ones are pretty frozen, but there's still 3 major volcanoes right there in that area, and there was a pretty good quake on land, and then there's this quake offshore, which is probably having to do more with the subduction zone. And then if you tie it in with the Japan quake or the Russian quake, which is in the Sea of Okhotsk, but it's more about Sapporo and that Japan side there.
Yeah, there's a big caldera in Kamchatka too. It's called Kurle Lake, but they spell it Kurile. So it's like Kurle Islands, except they have an E on the end of it. And a bunch of those volcanoes are around the edge of it. That are up there. Yeah. So if you look up Kurle Lake, it will give you all this information about the gigantic caldera. And
how do you spell it again, bud?
Kurile. So it's like Kurle Islands.
I got it.
It's got an E on it.
And it is way more south than what we're talking about. So I'll show you on the map here. So here, let me share what's going on. Kamchatka coming in right now with a boomer too. Not a big one, but a fair enough one.
Yeah, knows we're talking about it. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. All right. So show on stream. Dun, 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 dun. That's where the that's on what's shown on scene is not where I want to show you, but excuse me. Latest earthquakes. Google Earth. Here we go. Hold on. I need to get a drink. This is the island or the lake that he's talking about right here at Cure Lake. Right here, this volcano's going off, right? About 5,000 feet over its top. And also over here, a lead volcano was acting up just the other day. And then what? You can't see it. I'm showing. So I'm sorry. So here we are. There's Cure Lake right here at the bottom, okay, of Kamchatka. There's a volcano right here that's active. Okay.
Wasn't there another K1 that was acting up the other day?
Yes, and it's over here. A lead's popping. So both of these are popping, and then there's another one somewhere down here that was acting up, but there was an earthquake right down here too. I want to say that's this one here was acting up.
I thought it was like a K name, like K-Lops, or I can't remember how it started now. It's a weird name.
I think it was on one of these islands, these Russians, where they had their on their base.
On the
it's right here on right up
Curl
in here.
Islands.
Yeah.
It's a name I didn't remember before or hadn't heard before.
Right. I think it's right here. And I was saying, well, I hope it kind of does something because it knocked the Russians off. That's what I was saying. And I mentioned that the Russians took the there's Gora set top, but I mentioned that the Russians took this from the Japanese in World War II. This is the base right here. Then the Russians abandoned it and then recently retook it. So the Japanese could have went over there and took it back and said, yeah, this is our island, but bye. But they're passive aggressive now. I would have said, okay, let's take a whole freaking army and put it there and say, yeah, we took it back. But right here is where the earthquakes that happened in the 7 and a couple of the other ones. Then right up in here, there's another earthquake that took place. And I'll share this one here. All right. So right here's where the 7 happened and a couple of 5s, right? And then this one happened just the other day on the 16th, so yesterday. This one hit first, and then this one out here. Are they related? Very well could be. The 3 volcanoes I spoke about, this one and these 2 here, are right within the area. Right? So there's a plausibility of something happening here on these 3 volcanoes. So that's me answering your question, Clem, that there is a possibility. Doesn't mean it will happen. More than likely what's going on is here's the subduction zone. This quake is responding because it's only 29 kilometers depth right here. Most major quakes happen on the rising side of the subduction zone between 25 and 45 depth.
Right.
I don't know. This one here is 169. This is 169 depth. The quake that's on land, 169. That's pretty significant. Now, the quake that happened down here, I don't know how long ago. I guess it's 30 days now, right here in Japan, the 6.5, Russia, Dolinsk, Russia, 406 depth, right? 6.5. And if we looked at it, origins, magnitudes, body wave, 6.8, 6.5 maybe, 6.6, 6.8. Yeah, I think they got it right. 6.5. So, nothing too concerned. If you didn't see it, this quake here is probably between a 6.5. So they got it right in the depth too. So there's a depression you can see if we just looking at that, like look at the ocean. you see kind of a rise or a lower depth right here, and it's around the edge. It leads right up into it. So did this affect the 6.5 or the whatever it was up there? I don't know what it was. Last 30 days. Well, that's no. I'm not going to do that one. All right. Oh, so earthquakes. All right. Too many shit that's open right now. But in that area, that other quake isn't that significant. So is it related? Maybe. You know, it's really kind of hard to determine that.
Yeah, because Quake Cat's talking about the Yakutas plate. Because
Right.
all the studies I have read has said that it's actually part of North America based upon the rocks. The rocks that are in the Yakutas plate are more North American-like than they are Asian-like.
Well, that would suggest that at one time that it was part of North America and moved over there.
Yeah.
Those rocks and that piece of land. Now, was Russia banging up? I mean, we don't know how old those rocks were. Does it tell you how old those rocks were?
I think it does, but I don't remember.
Okay.
The studies.
So,
but
if they're saying, you know, greater than 200 million years, then, you know, that's prior to Pangea. I don't like studying older than Pangea because it's just ethereal. It's like way the frack out there, and it really does us no good to try to say, okay, well, this belonged here, and this is over there, and this is what we just don't know. Now, I played a report yesterday, a class, not a class, but a discussion yesterday, and it was kind of illuminating. Depending on if you have two plates bumping into each other, and depending on how shallow the one plate is, it doesn't have any let's call it a group of mountains that's on the shore line. Okay, what do you call it? I forget what they're called. God bless. Coastal mountain ranges. Okay, what happens is the one can just kind of ride on it and keep riding on it for a long distance, and because it's being pushed right from behind, and the other one's being pulled down. As it's being pulled down in a westward subduction, the other one that's coming up over the top can get pushed in really far, and that's kind of one of the ideas that a couple of the guys were having, that all the way into Idaho, that parts of the Kula plate or the Farallon plate or the Resurrection plate or the Pacific, they didn't say which, when North America was coming in, when it was before it banged into all these Aleutian Island types that came out from Mexico all the way out to the north. So you take the Aleutian Islands, move it down and attach it to Mexico, and go out into the Pacific and go north. Right? So I'm going to see if I can. Let me share something with you here. All right. Bing, ding, 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 ding. And see if I can share this. Screen, window. There we go. Share this. Loading on screen. All right. So you guys can see that. Okay, good. They can too. So you've got, right now we have Alaska, the lines coming up Alaska, right? Coming down through Canada, through the islands of what do you call it? Vancouver and all that, right? Right down here, and we got Washington, we got Oregon, and we got California, right? And out here you got Idaho, I don't know if it's this way or the other. I think it's this way. Montana and Wyoming, of course, and Nevada, which kind of come like that, right? And Utah up this way, in Arizona, blah blah blah, right? Something like that. All right. But down here, they had islands that kind of came out like this. And in 110 million years ago, there may have been another little strip here. So North America moving across hit this island, and this all didn't exist. All this stuff here did not exist. You have Idaho right here, basically. Let me draw it a little bit thicker so you can see. Idaho's like basically right here. And the 706 line was like right here. And then you have Utah right here. And you got the Wasatch Mountains right here. The Wasatch Mountains were created by land coming up on shore, creating those mountains. And they're very abrupt. It's like, boom, straight up in the air. And it's all flat, but right in front of it, straight flat. It's like, why isn't there any mountains out there? There isn't. So when the mountains came in, the coastal plain of the North America was like right here, just west of Idaho. And there's a lot of argument that, you know, it's prior to the, what do you call it? How do I say it? Let me get rid of all this. Prior to Washington and the Cascades, because that's all basically 50 million years ago, 55 million years ago. But you have Idaho, and I think it goes this way. Forgive me if I'm on the opposite side. And in Montana goes out this way, and you got Wyoming down here, right? So the 706 line kind of comes out like that. So this used to be the coast of North America. And so whatever we hit here, and I think it's actually down here because this is where the Wasatch is. No, down here's Wasatch. Something hit down here. And as it did, okay, cool. It didn't kill me. I was testing that. The landmass, I'm going to do a sideways view now. So if the North America is this, and this is all North American, old North America, what they've noticed is there's pieces that have risen up on North America, right? That go way back up here into Idaho that are this is all underground. And it's not that it's not, they didn't bend. They just slid. They slid up the coast. And so when they drill, they see all of these things. They can drill all the way down like this. They can see these pieces of material, some old land that's down there. And they're like, well, if this is a certain age, they can kind of gauge those ages. And then you got everything that's curling up here, the funky Issean ages and all that. But what was interesting to me is all this stuff down here is North America. And it's really kind of flat, and everything got pushed up on it, and it went up there pretty relatively easy. One group on top of another group on top of another group. Do you remember that? I think you were there, Canuck. Do you remember when he was talking about that?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say it was the guy from Michigan. You know, the guy with the beard, you remember that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Him and the guy with the glasses, Professor Nick was just kind of listening. It was really interesting how he said that. And I don't know that I can pull it up super fast, but it was illuminating Well, he's got a new one out. White Pass Outcrops. He's a crazy man. But I really liked what he had to say in regards to that, because it really just kind of Basil Tikoff and Karen Siglock. And then I don't remember the Stephen Johnson.
Yeah, who's from like Alberta.
Yeah. And I want to say they talked a lot about California and the ages of things. And let me see if I can. I'm getting close to where he talked about it. And there's a part of California in the very far north that this is the one part. Let me see if I can bring it over here to you. I do have permission to play this, so all right, I'm gonna put it on.
With a slide.
Good, you bet.
Are we on here? Okay, let's just do this.
We're getting good now.
Thank you, Stephen.
So this is a terrible figure for a presentation, but it's from a nice paper by Harry Vandervelden and Fred Cook, who were at University of Calgary. And what it shows up top here is a geological map right along the 49th parallel in all of these terrible shades of gray. But the only thing you need to point out is this is the Rocky Mountains. This batch in here is our belt Purcell. Okay, carried on a major thrust fault that we call the Lewis. And this is the Rocky Mountain Trench we've talked about out here. So here's they have a beautiful cross section of across this map here. And it's constrained by seismic, reflection seismic, as well as numerous wells that have been drilled through here. So in essence, you've got the belt Purcell carried on the Lewis thrust sheet, and the thrust sheet and all of this is pushed back on top of North America, right? So the gray down here is the Precambrian Canadian shield, right? It's 1.8 billion year old and older
About North America.
Basement rocks. And all of this is the stratigraphy that has been used to say it's nailed to the continent, right? So if we go down and look at it simplified down here, and then what this is down here is a palinspastic restoration. So they've undone the displacements on all these faults. This vertical hatch right here is the belt Purcell, okay? And this line right here is the Lewis thrust sheet, okay? And you can follow it all the way up here. And so when displacement takes place on that Lewis thrust, this is what you end up with, right? This line here gets shortened all the way to here, and here's the Lewis thrust carrying the belt Purcell in its hanging wall. But the weird thing, and the point here about nailed to the craton, is that in most thrust faults, you break stratigraphy, and what ends up above the thrust fault is repeated below the thrust fault. Okay? There is no belt Purcell below the Lewis thrust fault. Every bit of belt Purcell is in the hanging wall of the Lewis thrust fault. There's no belt Purcell on the craton at all, right? What happens is you pass through the Paleozoic section right into the Canadian shield. So this isn't nailed to the continent in that there's no footwall belt Purcell. It could be, and probably is, extremely far traveled with respect to the cratonic basement that it's thrust over. So this comes back.
In essence, what he's saying is this, that the left side here on the very bottom has slid all the way up here, and it's not split. Whereas you got one that rides over the other when he's talking about the parallel. So what I saw in what he was saying here is it went further in because, and it didn't like break off and right over on itself because there's no parcel down below, but it was pushed in all the way. Now see this edge here,
Back to
this edge here is right here. They stretched it back out, through a special way of understanding it, and they can't find anything. Now, after the Siletzi and everything else smashed up the other islands that are out there, then they're starting to bend. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to see, is it possible for a piece of land to ride up another piece of land at great distance? And that's what they found out that it did. It's ridden for a long way interiorly. So there are ideas that are going on that this is semi-cutting edge understanding of and I know I'm on a different topic, but I really forgot where I was going with this, but I found it super interesting that there can be a piece of land way inland. Oh, something. Finally, USGS has the little banger. Go ahead, Canuck. You have something to say?
Well, I can bring it back to the other side. So I want you to finish what you're talking about now, because I can relate it back to
what we're talking about earlier.
Yeah, the Japan side again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even though, so finish what you're talking about first, and then I'll connect it back over to Japan.
Good, thank you. Sometimes we get these deep in there, and it's like, oh crap, where'd I go with this one? What I'm trying to say is, when something gets accreted onto one piece of land from another, it can go a long way inland as it rides up and over, because both of the lands are buoyant, super buoyant. They're not going to subduct and be pushed down completely. And what he's saying here, all this craton here is the old ancient 1 billion years old. All this other stuff is not. And when North America was moving across, the Kula Plate was out there, the Farallon and the Juan de Fuca and Red Jurassic Plate and all the other ones. What they're finding is there's a clear delineation from some of that land that's up there north of the border, north of United States, in Canada, past the Tentina Fault, past the Rocky Mountain Fault, that they can see. It's like, how the hell did it get up there? You're talking, 1,000 miles inland, and before all the Rocky Mountain stuff happened. And that little piece and they didn't play much on this, but I think it's super, excuse me. It's super interesting to see how land can ride up another piece of land and be able to see that land. So go ahead, Canuck.
Yeah, well, to me, that's the same as how the ice sheets do their thing. But anyway, to bring it back to Japan, because I've studied Haida Gwaii, like in super detail. Well, there's 3 things on Haida Gwaii that are weird, that don't match anything in North America. There's weird flowers and like vegetation there. There's weird wildlife and the weird insects. And the only other place they can find the same stuff in the entire world is in Japan.
Right.
So
that's why I said what I was saying, because it is in Canada. We were just talking about this piece of land out here. They have seen land just right way up in here. That is like, it's not part of the craton. It's from out there. And Japan is like way the hell over here. And he's saying, and I knew he was going to go with this, because I'm on the same track on that there are insects and bugs and rocks that look like what's on the other side. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah. So, however, wherever it originated from, Haida Gwaii and Japan, they had to be close together at some point to have the same things.
Right.
So that means there were some other islands way out there beyond the ones that we see in Karen Siglock stuff, because they haven't got the whole way over yet through Asia with doing all their mantle tomography, because they're in Myanmar right now. Well, they haven't come the whole way back over yet, because I bet what they're going to find is a whole bunch of other slabs under Asia that they're going to have to track backwards, and they're going to find all these trenches, and they're going to say, look, there's more islands, and these islands were next to these islands. And that's going to explain how this works. Correct. And that will probably end up, they'll explain Kamchatka, where it came from and why it's more North American than it is whatever. Right. Even though that's what they're leaning to right now, if you read their current studies. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So Tokyo is actually North American.
Right. So what he's saying is this. This is what it looks like right now. This is the Rat Islands right here. This is the Emperor chain. This is the Hawaiian chain. Here's Hawaii down here. Here's Haida Gwaii, and here's Japan. Somehow, this and this were adjacent to each other. So what we do know is the Pacific Ocean is going that direction. It's getting pushed. Now, there's something happened at right here. This is my supposition now. Something happened right here, and something happened to change this line. It moved it that way in my mind. All right. So when a plate goes down underneath and it doesn't slow the plate moving anymore, things can change, because it's got to go the easiest way it can, the least restrictive path. So if you're looking at the imperial chain all the way to Hawaii, there's a bend in it. And this bend here is roughly 40 million years. That's what I've last I heard, 45 million years. This one is a little bit longer. And then there's this shift. And I'm going to show you that show this on stream. I'm going to show you that. Look right here. Rat Island comes out here, turns up, and goes north to this point here. But there's this line right here. This is the imperial chain. How long does it take from this point here to this point here? Could something have happened where it took this from this point, or this used to be together, and stretch it out? See, when a plate goes down, things get moved. Like a fault, the fault's getting moved. That's what this is showing us, that there's some great change that happened in the world, in the movement of the I don't like seeing those or the or the oh crap, where'd it go? I'll forget about it. Okay, well, the clouds aren't there. All right, so this has been going into the subducting for a long time. But when it started here?
I'm going to give you another example, because right now they say there's an ancient plate under Asia called Izanagi, or however they say it. Izanagi. Right, Izanagi. I bet what they're going to find out that's too simple, because it's like Farallon. And now they're finding all those other slabs and saying, well, it's not just Izanagi, it's all these other plates. And that's what they're finding out now. So I bet it's going to be the same thing whenever they get to doing the new mantle tomography under Asia and Japan. Once they get there.
They got to get permission from Russia. They got to work with the Russians. They got to work with the Chinese and all that to have that able to do it. I think they're able to do it, but maybe they're... I don't know. There's going to
be they got permission from Myanmar, and they're not very friendly. So,
well, they're against the Myanmar is the idea. See, there's a reason that it's I find this interesting because you have to roll back the whole Pacific. And let me go back to this one and share this. File new. Don't say it. When you got a plate that's down here, down below, right? And then this is the land right here, and here's the subduction, right? You got this plate down here. When you roll all this back out and you straighten this, right? Now, mind you, that a lot of that is subjective to some degree. But when they start doing these things, they will see, okay, well, this mountain that we see right here was really, way the frack over here. And now it's moved to here. And then this land will tell us that. And then this part has got to go that way. So it's like, okay, once they start rolling things back, then they say, okay, it makes complete total sense that that this Haida Gwaii right here has similar bugs or whatever to Japan. And if you roll this back and you bring this one way over here and this one way over here, Japan may have been part of that island arc that set off the United States before the United States got there. It might have sat out here in the ocean and drifted that way and was pulled that way because of the Pacific plates being pushed in that direction. And then now it's being subducted underneath because this plate went over the top. I think that's pretty freaking interesting to me. That the Japan thing, because he's right. There is certain things on Japan and Haida Gwaii are the same. How do you bring them together or bring them adjacent, close enough, 500 miles or 1,000 miles, where plant life, because birds got to fly, right? Birds can fly and drop the seeds and stuff. Plant life can survive. The birds can't go across the ocean right now. It's way too far. So what happened? And I think that is super, super interesting. So you have to roll back. You got to pull the imperial chain out from underneath, and then you got to move it over, and you got to move how it's bent. Then you got to move, Hawaii didn't even exist then. And then you have to move the Mendocino right here. You got to bring it all the way down here.
Well, if the Hawaii Emperor Seamount chain is 85, where it goes under, where it's subducting, well, then it probably is older than that. It's just you can't see it.
Right.
But the Izanagi plate would have been before the Pacific.
Correct. So we're looking at maybe 120, 180 million years ago.
So it's getting back in that.
And when you take that
200 million
range, and here looking at Hawaii right here, right? You're going 200 million years. North America was in Pangea, banged on Pangea right over here. Right? So, and you got to take this Mendocino and bring it way the heck down here.
Yeah, but when it was all the supercontinent together at Pangea, that doesn't mean there wasn't a whole crap load of islands out in whatever. Yeah, whatever boony ocean you want to call it, the humongous ocean.
Yes, sir.
Whatever name you want to give it.
Yes, sir. And that's what's interesting. I'm doing it. This is 100 million years. I'm going to try and share this screen with you here. Share screen. Window. There we go. Share that.
The humongous ocean plate. Well, it would be that because it would be broken up into different pieces.
So you see this little stuff out here. It's way prior to this. And this is at 100 million years. So we're talking way before that. This is 300 million years ago, prior to the Atlantic rift happening. There's a bunch of islands out here, and some of these could very well have been Japan, and it moved over to the other side.
Oh, and the new news from just 4 days ago, they think they found Atlantis under the very last Canary Island, Lanzarote, I think it's named. They've
Yeah.
gone off that and looked. Did you see that article? And they found
No.
another island that's on top of a gigantic seamount that's sunk underwater. And they went down and looked with the sub, and they could see that there's it's all like sandy beaches. Like they could see where the sandy beaches were all around the top of it. So now they think that's Atlantis. So they got to go back next year and look at it closer.
Are you talking about over in
it's at the end of the Canary Islands. The last Canary Island, I guess, is Lanzarote.
Right.
So they were on that one, and then they took a sub and went off it, and then they found this other seamount that's underwater, but it's not super far underwater. And they looked at the top of the seamount, and it's like gigantic, but it's like it looks like an island because they can see where there was like beaches all around the outside of it. So now they think that that's where Atlantis was. So this is the latest, greatest thing. But they got to go back and find out, see if they.
Lapatetta is that what they're? That's the most southern island.
I thought it was like an L name, Lanzarote, I think they said, or something like that. But anyway, that last island they went off of, and they found this big seamount underwater from coming off the last island of the Canary Islands. And they found it under there, and now they got to go back and check it in more detail to see if they can find artifacts or anything down there that would say this was Atlantis, because they think it sunk because it's so many meters under the water.
5 hours ago.
Because when I saw the article, I think it was 4 days ago or something.
5 days ago, Live Science. This could be the original of Atlantis legend. Mountain is sank beneath the waves discovered off Canary Islands. Large seamount. View tab, okay. Researchers in Spain have uncovered lost islands that sank in the ocean millions of years ago. Some of them which still have beaches intact. This could be the Atlantis legend. The team found islands on the seamount underwater mountains, which contain 3 now inactive volcanoes about 31 miles in diameter. Its base is about 1.4 miles below the surface of the ocean. Western Africa has lifted some 1,500 feet. So there's, that's what a lot of people don't know, that the whole side of Africa has lifted that far. But 330 to 8,200 feet, the rover. Okay, scientists found Mount Los Atlantis while exploring the seabed off the coast of Lanzarote, the easternmost of the Canary Islands, using remotely operated vehicles at a depth of 330 and 8,200 feet. The dive was part of the Atlantis project, which aimed to better understand underwater volcanic and hydrothermal activity in the region. Los Angeles would have been a series of islands during the Eocene, or 56 million years to 34 million years ago. Once the volcano stopped erupting, lava solidified and became denser, causing the islands to sink into the ocean. But some of the features of these lost islands remain. We have identified beaches, cliffs, sand dunes, and flat summit of the seamount. Somoza told the Science, adding that the sand that now covers the volcanic rock would have been deposited when the islands were actively sinking. Some of the beaches are set 200 feet below the ocean surface during the last ice age, when the sea levels were far lower than they are today, and active volcanoes would have become the islands again. These islands could then be used for inhabited wildlife. You said when the sea levels rose in the last ice age ended, it sank again. Well, makes sense. But they have to find artifacts, and right now is not a time to go down there because of the weather. So I will share this link with you that are on over here on Twitch.
Well, we'll see if they find anything when they go back next year, I guess.
Yeah.
They'll find a Stargate under there, the Atlanteans. Stargate Atlantis.
Quick Cat doubts the veracity of this, and life science is bad for doing that, she says. So, as everything, even the things that we've said today, take it with a grain of salt, meaning do your own study. We don't know what we're saying. We're just kind of, surmising from articles that we've read or thoughts that we had. Again, we're looking into things. We're studying things. We're trying to learn. We're no different than the scientists out there, except for they have degrees and they're a little smarter than us sometimes. But sometimes they get pigeonholed into a subject matter. They're looking at rocks and that's all they think is rocks, but they have a path. And because of that path, they're unable to see beyond their own limitations that their area of expertise is. And we're trying to glean from many different areas, trying to bring it together to see if things fit. If they don't fit, that's no big deal. We just toss it. But we're posing questions. We're saying, well, is this related? Is that related? Is that related? And, the sea's sinking 200 feet, 300 feet. That's nothing. It's been roughly 5,000 years, 6,000 years that the seas have risen to such a point that maybe 12,000 since the last ice age, that 12,000 years ago, that West Africa was, 1,500 feet lower. Something's making West Africa rise, and volcanoes are there. Something's down there doing it. Is it the Atlantic rift pushing? Sure. Is it the, like this one knucklehead said, the island might tip over. There's a lot of people now. How stoned you are. But whatever, man. It might be onto something. Who knows?
Maybe Guam will sink.
Oh, maybe Guam will sink. Well, see, North Africa is being subjected underneath or subducted underneath Eurasia, right? So it's going underneath Crete, going underneath Greece, underneath Italy. It's going underneath that way. Maybe it's so stiff that the other side's lifting up. I don't know. But there sure looks like a bunch of water came from one side and washed over the other side. And, that's why in the look of certain things fit, some things don't. I think it's interesting. The Canary Islands is one object for Atlantis. Also,
I bet what they're going to find when they keep going out there, they're going to find a bunch of other seamounts that go all the way across and connect to Bermuda, because I think that's a permanent line.
There you go, bud.
So when they get looking, they're going to end up all the way over at Charleston. When they
right.
Stop.
Yeah, all the way to Charleston, you think?
Yeah, because I think that's the angle that it goes based upon the felt reports of the Charleston quake. And
all right.
In 1886, because they felt it on Madeira Island, which is the one that's right above La Palma, in 1886. So for some reason, it reverberated all the way across from Charleston and hit Madeira Island, because they had felt reports from that quake all the way on the other side of the Atlantic. So that's pretty interesting. And then when I looked up 1887, because I think it goes on that same line and goes all the way down to where Sonora was, and there was a gigantic earthquake in the Ligurian Sea, that's on that almost exact same line that same year in 1887. And I said, oh, look, 2 big quakes on the same liniment line. Now, isn't that freaky? So that was my 1886 and then 1887 rabbit hole. And they've never been able to figure out what caused the Ligurian Sea one, because it made a big tsunami that hit France, southern France. So they've been trying to figure that one out. Can it do that again? Well, yeah, sure it can. If it makes a big enough quake out there again, they're going to be in big doo-doo in southern France, because they're going to have a big tsunami coming in there and taking out all the beaches. all the tourist sites.
Right.
It'll be exciting.
Well, I mean, in a rabbit hole, we can run with it every which way you want, right? It is what it is. We can continue this for hours.
Yeah, that's fun.
We're already 2 hours in. Can you believe that already? 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
This was a
Time
quick
flies.
rabbit hole, man.
We started out in Japan.
this-
We went intercontinental again.
Well, that's normal. And yeah. Interesting. All I gotta say is interesting. I don't know the veracity of this, but I just see a report here that Japan was out there, swimming, and a United States submarine surfaces right in the middle of them all. The Chinese Navy was out there, and pop, up comes the U.S. Navy. Can you imagine?
Well, I can see the lines on my app with just 48 hours of quakes. But when you get into historical stuff, you're spreading it out by years. And I can see it go up and down all these lines because I look like historical examples. So I start with one, and then I keep looking, and I say, oh, well, let's see if it follows the same line. Like, do I find like indications that the same line was active in the same year? And I've found it so many times now. Can't be a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's like after you find something 10 or 15 or 20 times, well, it's getting to be not a coincidence.
I agree with you, bud, and that's why we look at those things. Now, nothing's set in stone, but we can have theories and ideas and put forth those ideas, and then test the veracity of those ideas with other information that we bring in, and such as I know, right? We're actually Flutter, we are working on something we did. I don't want to bring it up yet, but we're working on something. And
that's what they're basically doing with the new satellites, because they can see these they're calling them magnetic lineaments.
Yeah.
And that's since Landsat 9 in 2021.
Right.
And I started looking up the studies on lineaments, and it's when we were looking, I started looking up stuff in Africa there. However we got on Africa, I don't even remember now. But I was looking up the new the new studies on Africa, and it started to all the ones from 22 on are talking about magnetic lineaments that cross over the ocean through the fractures, and they're in South America, and they're like crossing all these ones all over, and saying that the satellites can actually see these magnetic lineaments in lines. Like we can see like the evidence of them, right? The physical evidence, but they're actually, however, whatever's on that satellite is seeing all this stuff, and how they can see like how the magnetics connect from one thing to another. Now, and this is with Landsat 9. So, and well, there's other satellites out there that are doing other stuff too. So basically, you have to learn all the satellites. So this should be like a required course in the kids at school. There should be a lot of things that are required
Correct.
courses for the kids at school.
Well,
other than all the stuff they waste time on.
Right. I think giving them some sort of background to be able to think for themselves, 1, make suppositions, 2, to be able to use the scientific method, 3, to look at what's going on in real science, such as these satellites using LSAT 9 and all the other ones that we use. And then trying to say, use their own minds and try to, look at the world around them. It's not boring. There's a lot here. And I'm not one of those people that say it's conspiratorial where, they're hiding this stuff from us.
Well, they already know the flares enhance the hurricanes, storms,
Mm.
so they make more lightning.
Mm.
So they already know that from the flares already right now because they've taken the satellite pictures of it enhancing when the flares are happening. Now, I haven't heard them say anything about the geomagnetic storms doing stuff, but that's what the new geoelectric field map is for. So I imagine that's what they're using that for, because that's only been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So they're going to find out that the geoelectric field is reacting to whatever the
Right.
geomagnetic storms are doing to the Earth.
And they only studied up to a certain level, then stopped. And then they studied way out there. They didn't study the middle range. And that's where the ring current is. That's where all the ring current's basically the Earth's battery. And when that thing gets overcharged, things start to happen. It starts to bleed off. And it bleed off meaning the energy starts to pour out. And we start to see some funky stuff going on, funky weather and earthquakes and storms and other stuff.
And right now with those satellites, we have 50 years of data. So it doesn't matter which one it is. It's all in the database that it's gone to. And there's stuff in that database that they haven't even deciphered yet because they don't even know what
they don't know. They don't know how to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with the information yet. But of course, they're adding more with all these new satellites. And then there's all these private companies and research things that are going and taking this data from this gigantic database and deciphering it and figuring out how it all works. And it's not just like there's places in Europe, there's probably China's probably doing who knows how many different places, because whoever's like get the data is doing stuff with it to figure out how the world works, basically. Well, how the universe works, if you really want to get down to it. Because they have the satellites not only looking at Earth, they're like looking out everywhere else too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's crazy stuff.
Well, is my boy Clem still here? Did he pass out? Just went live again on Rumble, Joe. Really? I guess we got knocked off. Yeah. I'm looking at Putin just put on extermination orders for the it looks like Chile's coming in, Peru. Well, I guess something rocked small Chile, but it's visual inside of Peru as well, southern Peru. Yeah. Anyway, hey. Where are we at over here? We're on this side.
All the kids right now are trained to be good drone pilots. I know that much.
Right. Yeah.
That's where they're going to get
them all. That's the real warfare. Yeah, real warfare. Upload is only 88%. Okay, we're at 2 hours. I'm sure they're going to kill us anyway. Do you have anything else you want to add, Bud?
No, I can't think of anything else tonight.
Yeah. I want to be on a little while longer for sure, but not on this rabbit hole. But yeah, there you go, sister. You know what's what. Yeah.
Yeah, you think Rumble would be immune from earthquakes, but it's not.
Yeah. But yeah,
since it is Rumble.
Yeah, oh, it's rumbling. Yeah, we just had an M almost. Well, we're on the rise again right now. In fact, I don't know if it flattened out. Let me look. 6 hours. Nope, we're back in an M status right now. M1, 1, 2, right now. So we're still bumping it. Thank you, Canuck. I love you, brother. That's all I can say. I love my brothers. My brother Clem, I think he may have passed out, or maybe his wife came over. Thanks, Kitty Cat. Bomb, thank you for your straight talk and bringing some things to mind.
I don't think we solved anything again. We just created more questions.
We never do. More questions. It's okay. Yeah. Timmy, thank you, bud. Flutter Girl, of course. Love you. Eden, right on, buddy. Right on. Oh, I know Arizona was here too. Three panel members are after Camden. What Kat asked the question after the Kamchatka 7, what do you think is going to be hit next with a notable earthquake? Alaska somewhere. That's all I can say.
Well, it depends on if it's
Mhm.
if the charge is going to be big enough to cross over again.
It could go to Mexico, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, I think it could go over anyway, making a triangle. Because right now there's too many 7s on one side, unless we're going to get like an 8 or a 9 to counterbalance it on the other side.
1-8 would balance it. Yeah, I know. But thanks, Canuck. Love you, brother. Say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hang tight for the after party, Bill. All right.
Yeah.
Love y'all. And remember, don't get none on you.